Good afternoon, Flosstube. It's Lori of MischievousStitches. I want to welcome all of you to my channel today. I'm very glad that you stopped by to visit with me. I have several things to share with you today. I have work on my current pieces, an FFO, a thing or two that I picked up thrifting, as well as some plans. So let's get started. One of my last finishes that I have had is on this piece, and this is Vam-Purr by Satsuma Street. And if you've watched me for any time over the past, say, 2 years, I have stitched up several of these to include the Christmas ornaments, and I've stitched those for my grandchildren. I actually have two I need to stitch up soon for this coming Christmas. But they're quick stitches. If I focus on them, I can have one finished in less than a week. And they're actually really quickly finished up. So as promised, finally, I did get this one fully finished. And this is Vam-Purr. And again, these pieces do These pieces do come in a kit. They come with everything you need to finish them. The thread, the needle, the hanger is actually a piece of twine or that is used to hold the threads together in the packet, as well as the beads. And you can see there's some sequins in there. You have more than enough to finish the piece. And it comes with the perforated paper. To finish it up, all I used was some double-sided tape on the back, as well as a piece of felt, and then I just cut out the shape once I secured those things on. I did do a quick video of how to finish these up several videos back if you want to refer to it, but this is my latest finish. And since I haven't shared them in a while, I picked out or pulled out some of the ones that I've already finished. And I don't remember all of their names, but this is one of them. Isn't he so cute? I just love this neon green at Halloween time. I love this one's hat and the little spells. They're on, it looks like spells on his hat. His witch's hat, and then he's on a broom. And then I also worked on this one. This one I used a ribbon as a hanger. It did as well come with a piece of the twine just as the others did, but for some reason I just wanted to do a similar ribbon to the raven's coloration. And can you see him? I think I've stitched him this year. You can see the black sequins have kind of they just have a shimmer of them of purple, green, very cool. I finished this one up with a dark blue piece of felt, and then this one. So I don't have many of these done, and I do have plans for something to display them on once I get several of them finished. And I have this one, and I finished this one up with a lighter blue piece of felt. Like I said, they're fun stitches. If you focus on them, you can get them finished up pretty quick, and they're just as cute as can be. I did pull out one. I actually purchased this one on Satsuma Street. It has an Etsy shop, and I will link that below. But I do not have this printed in color, so I do apologize for that. But if you're interested in this one, you can find it on our Etsy shop. But this is the Pumpkin King Nutcracker, and so it's a pumpkin head. And I should have plenty of beads and sequins left left over in the kits from the other pieces that I plan to use to finish up him. As I can see, he's got some sequins for his eyes, the 3 tips of his crown, as well as on his boots. The difference between him that you can see slightly here in his crown, but not in his scepter, is that it is doubled perforated paper, meaning you're going to stitch the main part of the piece, which is going to be his torso, his feet, his arm, and his scepter is an additional stitch that you'll lay on top. So you'll have to attach them. I've done it before. It's nothing to be intimidated about, but you just kind of pull out a light color, and you're just going to sew into the same stitches to the perforated paper of the piece above to secure it to the piece below. So it's going to be, like I said, the same with his hat. So his head, from the tip of his head to the tips of his toes is all one piece. The crown is a second piece, as well as the scepter that will be stitched on too. Now I did find the actual twine that was on the majority of the ones I just showed you. Oh, I did find this at Dollar General and Family Dollar in their craft section a few months ago, and there's several different colors. So it's always the base of white, but there'll be black, blue, red, yellow, orange. And so what I'll do to keep them all pretty much the same, when it comes to finally finishing that one up, I will use some of that twine that I had picked up and use that as his hanger as well. I've got a needle stuck right there. Hold on, let me secure that back. I really was getting ready to stitch this one, wasn't I? And so thinking of that, I also had this I picked up in the middle of the summer to do a bag for Halloween, and they are 1 yard pre-cuts from Walmart. And I was going to do a project bag to put a Halloween thing, and I love these little eyeballs. And I picked this up for the inside piece of that. So I really wanted to get working on this today, but we actually went out and did Christmas shopping. It always seems like I'm a season ahead of where I need to be. I do like stitching in the season though, which is why I'm starting Pumpkin King this week instead of starting one of the Christmas ornaments, but I seem to do that a lot. Okay, what else do I have here? So I showed you Pumpkin King and Vam-Purr and those, and then I shared this with you last week, which was, let me secure this needle, but this is Quirky Turkey. Is it Whimsy Quirky Turkey? But this is Quirky Turkey. I believe I shared him last weekend and it wasn't ironed, but I started and finished this at the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch event at let me see if I can hold him down, at Barefoot Needlearts last weekend. And I've pondered how I want to finish him, because you know, we tend to finish things a lot. I see a lot of people try to think outside of the box, and I wanted to think outside of the box on this one, but I think I'm just going to do a pillow. Now the fabric is a 32 count. It was just a remnant they had at the shop for ornament I guess you would call them ornament pre-cuts, but it's just leftover pieces as they cut the fabric and they sell these pieces. So I had picked out this one. I stitched it in sulkies. It's not the call for color. The call for colors, that's better. The call for colors are a B&N thread, which I had never heard of. So of course, I'm sure the shop didn't carry it. And I just chose my own colors in sulky. And so I've decided, I pulled out, before I come down here, I pulled out some of these small cuts of wool that I've gotten at different places over the years, and I do use them for finishes. And I'm just going to basically, of course, blue's not going to go on it, but I'm going to put them on top of this, and actually that one looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. I said this one's a little stripy, and you can see more of the light through them in this room, so you can see the stripes there, but it makes it look lighter than it actually is too. But there's that one, and I have a pretty green, and then this color, which is more green than it looks in the oh, I like this one too. What about that one? Not sure. See where it looks like a little better. Not sure I like that one or not now that I've held it up. I'll think on that one. And this other is more like a golden. There's two cuts and they're similar, one a little darker than the other, but they're both golden, so I won't use those either. So let's do it like this. The striped reddish color or the orange, what do you think? I really love this one, but those colors are not in it. So should I go orangey stripe or golden plaid? Let me know what you think in the description box below. I'd like to have that finished up by next weekend and get back in a roll of trying to finish things. Now with this one, I have some buttons that I purchased at a festival, the Peach Festival, and they are walnut buttons. So someone, a local woodworker, had taken walnut shells, black walnut shells, and had sewn them into slices, which are old-timey buttons. And I want to use some of those. I've had them for a while and I want to use them on something, and this would be perfect for it. So there's that. So be on the lookout for that finish and maybe a project bag next week. Then my focus pieces has been my breast cancer awareness. We're still in the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in the U.S. And I started this in support of my friend Memory from Barefoot Needlearts, who is going through treatments now. And this is Faith, and it was designed by Amy of Barefoot Needlearts. And this fabric, I think it is called Fathom. You know what, before I speak, let me look, because I'm often say one thing and I'm wrong, so give me just a second. Yes, it is Rogue Vapors. It is a 28 count, but the holes are smaller, so I'm thinking it's probably gonna look more 32 count. I'm stitching this one in as most of the call for colors as I had. I purchased this too during the Barefoot Needlearts retreat at the beginning of last month. And they only had 2 of the threads, so I'm either using, some I'm using my own color choice, and others that they didn't have the sulkies for, I'm using the DMC. But this is where I am with this. My friend Teresa just finished hers the past couple of days, and it's beautiful. We purchased our kits together and kitted up the colors. She's changed hers up a little bit, but so have I. The anchor, I think I've started on the ship's wheel here, and I'm concerned I don't have enough of this color, which I think is Wood Trail, to finish up the bottom of the anchor, because I was struggled with this. It's big blocky. The chart is big blocky chunks of color, which generally I love to work on because it's easy to count. You're not changing your thread and your needle so often. And I just kept, every time I would pick it up from the day before, I would find a mistake, and I would spend a day pulling out what I stitched the day before, and so on and so forth. And so I got kind of aggravated with it, and it's not the piece, it's very much yours truly, but I wasted a lot of threads. But I do know a great little shop I can order it from. And this piece of fabric, look how plain it is on the bottom, and then the top is very much more variegated with the colors. And again, the light is really, it's the time of day, it's later in the afternoon. So the sun is not behind me, in front of me and behind me, the lighting. So it's not as, the light in the room is really showing through. But I do have plenty. So Fate, the F down there is the bottom of the fabric. So I have enough to do a little ornament on there. But I'm going to be stitching on this tonight. I would love, my goal is to finish this up this week. There's other things I want to start. There's some stitch alongs I need to catch up on, so I really want to get the work on that. So let's put this one away. Oop. And then here's another piece I pulled out that is a past stitched piece, and I've stitched this since I started doing Flosstube. I think it was like the first year or so thereabouts that I stitched this one, and I don't even remember the name. It was my first flat finish, And I finished it with no care if I could find a frame to put it in. And so it's just glued around to the back. I still love it. I love the fabric that I put on the edges. I don't have a lot of Halloween pieces, but this one just really made me happy. It was all about the clouds up here. This part starts the piece, and that was my favorite part. And then you've got the dancing mice at the bottom. It's so cute. Love the colors that are used in Halloween pieces. So again, I just cut out a piece of mat board and 2 pieces and put the frame piece. I just mounted that on a piece of mat board and then mounted them both together without a care that I wouldn't have a frame to fit in. So I'll have to finish that up in some kind of way that would be easier to display, but that'll be in the future. And this is in a Christmas beach bag. This is the one I did not bring out to share with you last week. I told you about it, but it was a new release from Babrbara, and I loved it. And this is Horrorville. And she suggests that you stitch it on a piece of raw. I did get a different color in it, but I made a small start on it. Again, let me get my color. Well, Lord have mercy. Your friend Lori sure does love to hide things from herself. I don't remember what color this is. I hope I have put it in my Instagram stories because I've lost the tag and I don't see it in here in my bag. But I did choose a different color, and it's more of a khaki. I really need to put something behind this because that lighting is really showing up. So let me close this bag and see if that'll help. So I didn't get a lot done, but I have a few stars, about 5 stars, and I started on a tree. And that is true. That's not the light shining behind. So I really liked this fabric for this. And again, this is the piece. And it's just so fun. So there's parts that have more stitching in them. There's a stream that goes from the left to right side of the pattern. And then you have the village down below and interspersed. But there's lots of little motifs, just like the stars. And I'm stitching this one strand over 2 threads, and I believe this was a 32 count hand dyed. So it was 20, did I say 32? It's 28 count, and I'm stitching 1 strand over 2 threads, and it covers really nice. I was really surprised. Now my eyes over the years are not as strong as they used to be, so I had to reach out to some friends and say, hey, what do you think? Because what I think looks well sometimes is covering well isn't always the case, because I don't see as well as I used to. And everyone that I've questioned seems to think that it works fine, so I'm just going to go with it. And so when you see a finish on Faith, you're going to see a lot more work on this one. Probably mixed in with some Christmas ornaments for my grandbabies. So yesterday I did attend a baby shower for my daughter-in-law. We are inspecting our 3rd grandchild in January, and we're having another little girl, which I'm so excited about. And so the family gathered for that. We were just joyful because we have a new little life coming into our world, and I'm looking forward to it. So it was a good weekend. And then I pulled out another piece. I don't think I've ever shared this on my channel, and this is an old Lizzie Kate. And when I first started stitching, this is one of the pieces that I stitched in. And I had a lady who was the mother of one of the ladies that owned the shop. Her mother finished this up for me years ago. And this is If the Broom Fits, Fly It. So it's a little witch's hat with little tiny baby buttons and beads for eyes at the bottom. And there is a snake charm here. And of course, the fabric used here are witches' hats, and then she made a homemade cording. It looks like out of pearl cottons for the edges of the pillow. And then on to my thrifting. I really wanted to go today. I thought maybe my husband and I would hit some of the local places today. But after we had lunch, I said, I really just want to go home. It was a great meal, and it just made me tired. And we had been out shopping for the grandbabies, which is always fun. There's something about shopping for little ones when you're picking out toys and you see things that your children had, similar things to what you had growing up, and it just made it really fun. I remember growing up and having, if you know, the little egg-shaped people that were called Weeble Wobbles. I remember having I think it was a Magic Kingdom with some Weeble Wobbles, but now it's little people, and so that's what they are, little plastic people. So my grandchildren, last Christmas, we bought them the farm, the Little People farm. My granddaughter plays with it all the time. And she has one other toy here, which is a stuffed Minnie Mouse. And she walks around asking for Minnie. It's one of the few words she can say, but she says it well, and she knows what she's talking about. And so one of the things we purchased her was a Little People's, it's a Minnie Mouse has a yacht, and her friends Daisy and another friend are on the yacht, and I'm so excited about her having that because I know she's going to play with it. Okay, and then about a month ago, my husband and I were out thrifting, and I found these, and I love them. But one of the things that made me laugh about this is you can tell the age of it. Now, I don't know whether it was something that was purchased or handmade. That I don't know. But the hangers are definitely handmade, and the hangers date this piece. So some of you may not even know what this is. Others that are my age will. So use what you got. So all if you've got is the rings off of a pop can, and you need to hang up a pair of wooden scissors, they're actually still secure. One of them, it looks like it's a little loose, but they're just the aluminum can tabs, pull tabs, and it works just fine. Although I think I want to hang them like this, kind of. But I'm gonna keep those on there just because it makes me laugh. But these will look great in my stitch room with all my other things. And I think that's it. So I've went through everything I had prepared for you today. I want to thank everyone for watching last week and leaving comments. It always makes me happy to look through the comments and read them. And I try to answer, if nothing but a heart and a thank you. But I appreciate you taking the time out of your day just to leave a comment of hello. And until next time, wish me luck with getting that fake finish. I'd appreciate that. And let me know what you think about the wool color for the turkey. Again, until next time, hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.